Yo, listen up. Now everybody knows you've been that one. They thought they could keep it quiet, huh? Nah. Secret's out. And oh, doesn't it burn them inside? Does it make them shake? They played their games, laughed in your face, oh wow. But they screwed up bad. They tried to bury the truth, but the truth don't stay buried, right? Every whisper, every scheme, every little fake smile, exposed, and now the whole world sees you, raw, undeniable, untouchable. So the question is, what you gonna do with that spotlight, huh? The mask slipped, and the world gasped. That's how it always happens, doesn't it? Quiet, subtle, a crack in the curtain, a sliver of truth breaking through the stage lights. They never expected it to happen, never thought the facade could shatter so violently. But here we are. Oops. Now everybody knows you've been that one all along. The one they whispered about, the one they underestimated, the one they laughed off, until the truth punched its way into the open. And oh, how fast their smiles disappeared. You can almost hear it in the silence, that dreadful silence that follows exposure. When they realize they can't unsee it, can't unhear it, can't unknow what has been revealed. Their game collapsed, their lies torched, their comfort zone shattered into shards sharp enough to cut their own hands. Wow, the irony is delicious. They spent so long convincing themselves that you were ordinary, weak, replaceable, a background shadow in their theater of arrogance. But here's the twist. You were the very storm they could never contain. And now the secret's out. Oh, you can see it in their eyes. That flicker of panic. That split-second twitch when truth slices through illusion. They thought they held the strings. They thought they wrote the script. Nah, turns out they were nothing more than actors playing a role in your story. And doesn't that sting? Doesn't that cut them deeper than any blade could? To realize that the person they dismissed, the one they mocked, the one they tried to bury, was the very foundation under their feet. And now the foundation is no longer theirs to stand on. It belongs to you. Yeah, it's funny. Not the kind of funny that makes you laugh. No, it's the kind of funny that makes the room colder. The kind of funny that makes silence heavy. The kind of funny that makes people squirm because they know the truth has no mercy. And the truth is a fire that doesn't care who it burns. So here we are, the reveal, the moment of collapse. Their carefully built illusions scattered like ash in the wind. They screwed up so bad. They should have kept their distance. They should have played smarter. But arrogance has a way of blinding people, doesn't it? It makes them think they can toy with you, that they can dictate your limits, that they can bury you beneath their noise. But noise can't bury fire. Noise can't drown thunder. And noise can't silence the truth. Listen closely. This is the part they never prepared for. Exposure doesn't just reveal you, it reveals them. Every false smile, every backhanded scheme, every rotten word they whispered when they thought no one was listening. Now the light shines, and their shadows crawl out, ugly and undeniable. Oh, how they wish they could take it back. Erase the moment, rewrite the scene. But that's the beauty of revelation. Once the curtain drops, it can never rise again the same way. What's been seen cannot be unseen. What's been unleashed cannot be caged again. And that's where the shift begins. The balance of power, the tilt of scales. The exposed truth doesn't just change how they see you, it changes how you see yourself. For so long, you carried the weight of their disbelief. You bore their mocking eyes, their sneers, their smirks. But now their disbelief is shattered, and in its ruins you stand taller, sharper, untouchable. Oh, they hate it. They hate that you were right. They hate that you endured. They hate that their effort to bury you only turned you into something they can't contain. And hate, when mixed with fear, creates a storm they cannot weather. So let them stew in it. Let them choke on the bitterness of their mistake. Because here's the truth. The reveal was never your weakness. It was your weapon. And they handed it to you themselves, too blind to realize what they were giving away. Now ask yourself, if this was just the reveal, just the first fracture in their crumbling illusion, what happens when the full storm arrives? Revelation is never the end. It's only the beginning of collapse. They thought exposure was the peak. They thought the worst was already behind them. But no, that was just the crack in the dam. What comes next is the flood, the unstoppable surge that doesn't ask for permission, doesn't wait for acceptance. And you are that flood. Because if the secret being out rattled them this badly, what happens when you decide to show the rest? What happens when you stop holding back? When you peel away the layers of restraint they always mistook for weakness? That's when the storm begins. You see, exposure is dangerous. Not because it shows the world who you are, but because it forces you to stop hiding. For so long you carried silence like armor. You let their ignorance shield you from attention. You moved in shadows because it suited you. But now the shadows have been burned away, and the only thing left is to step into the fire they thought they could survive. And oh, how unprepared they are. They can't fight what they don't understand. They can't contain what they can't predict. Wow. You can almost feel their desperation, scrambling for excuses, for explanations, for ways to rewrite the narrative that is no longer theirs to control. But narratives belong to the ones who command presence. And right now, that's you. Yeah, the shift has already begun. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to announce victory. Their fear speaks louder than any declaration could. Every glance they throw, every whisper they can't contain, every restless night they suffer, all of it proves one thing. They know they lost. Nah, they can't admit it. Pride won't allow that. They'll pretend, they'll posture, they'll cling to the fragments of their illusion as though fragments could shield them from the storm. But deep down, they know, and knowing eats them alive. Because here's the brutal truth. Once you've been exposed as that one, you can never return to being invisible. The days of blending in are over. They stole that from you the moment they tried to ruin you. They ripped the mask off, but in doing so, they carved your presence into the memory of everyone watching. And now you're unforgettable. That's what terrifies them most. Not just that you endured, not just that you rose, but that every single step from here on out will be magnified. Every word, Every action, every move. The world is watching, and the ones who tried to bury you are forced to watch as well. Their punishment isn't just their failure, it's their inability to look away. Oh, let them watch. Let them choke on the very spectacle they created. They wanted to expose you, to humiliate you, to strip you of dignity. Instead, they gave you the stage, and now they can't escape the performance. Every time you rise higher, it's a blade twisting deeper into their pride. You don't need revenge. You don't need to strike back. The truth itself is the strike. Exposure itself is the blow. And every day you continue walking with power, with clarity, with unshakable resolve. It's another wound they cannot heal. So, let the storm grow. Don't shrink from it. Don't try to tame it. The storm is your nature revealed, and storms do not apologize for destruction. Storms cleanse. Storms transform. Storms take what was built on weakness and sweep it away, leaving only the strong to remain. They screwed up so bad, not just by revealing you, but by underestimating what happens when you're revealed. They thought the secret was their weapon, but secrets lose power the second they're dragged into the light. And once it's out, it doesn't belong to them anymore. It belongs to you. That's the turning point. They never calculated. You aren't the one caught in the reveal. They are. Because now, the world isn't just seeing who you are. The world is seeing who they are in contrast. Weak, bitter, fractured. You rise, they sink. You build, they break. You move forward, they choke on their own hesitation. Oh, the stage is set now. The curtain is gone, the audience restless, the spotlight locked. And what comes next? That's the part that keeps them awake. That's the part they can't prepare for. Because the reveal was only the first fire. The storm that follows, that's the reckoning. Reckoning doesn't knock, it breaks the door. They thought truth was gentle. They thought exposure would sting, then fade. But reckoning is not a whisper, it's a roar. It doesn't arrive asking for calm discussion. It arrives like thunder, splitting silence, forcing everyone to listen whether they want to or not. And now, they're forced to listen. The secret is out, and that alone shook their foundation. But what follows, that's the part they never accounted for. Because the moment truth steps into the open, it doesn't just stop there. It spreads. It multiplies. It infects every corner of their fragile world. Oh, the irony. They spent years building walls of illusion, convincing themselves that lies could hold power forever. But truth doesn't rot. Truth doesn't weaken. Truth waits. And when it moves like a hammer, direct, merciless, final. Wow. Can you feel it? That tension in the air, the way their voices tremble, the way their bravado cracks. They stand there pretending to be steady, but inside, they are shattering piece by piece. Because reckoning isn't something you can bluff your way through. It tears through facades like paper. Yeah. This is where strength separates from noise. And you're not noise anymore. You're the echo that won't fade, the reminder they can't erase. Every step you take now is a reminder of their failure. Every breath you draw is proof they couldn't stop you. Nah, they don't want to admit it. They still cling to pride like it's a shield. But pride can't hold back the storm. Pride can't rewrite what everyone already knows. Their game is over, and yet they still try to pretend. But pretending only makes the reckoning worse when it finally crashes down. Understand this. The reckoning isn't just about punishing them. It's about transforming you. For years you carried their shadows, their attempts to box you in, their schemes to keep you small. But exposure erased all of that. Now the reckoning demands that you rise into the space they tried to deny you. It demands that you own the identity they feared you would claim. And oh, how it terrifies them to see you own it. Because once you embrace it fully, there's no turning back. You're no longer a question. You're the answer. You're no longer speculation. You're reality. And reality doesn't ask for acceptance. It commands it. Think about it. They tried to bury you, but in doing so they planted you deeper, and now you've grown beyond their reach. They tried to silence you, but in doing so they amplified your voice, because silence only makes people lean in closer. They tried to erase you, but in doing so they burned your name into their own history. That's the reckoning. Not a scream, not chaos, but the steady, unstoppable presence of truth. They can't escape. The more they resist it, the louder it gets. The more they fight it, the heavier it lands. And every second they deny it, they only make it clearer that they've already lost. So let them wrestle with it. Let them choke on their own schemes. You don't need to lift a hand. The reckoning is already working through them, already dismantling what they thought was indestructible. All you have to do is keep standing. All you have to do is keep moving forward. Because reckoning doesn't stop once it begins. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't compromise. Once unleashed, it finishes the job. And the job is erasing every illusion they ever tried to build around you. Oh, and here's the part they'll never admit. The reckoning is not just punishment. It's prophecy fulfilled. It's the moment where what they denied is proven unstoppable. Reckoning breaks them, but power rebuilds you. The storm that tore through their illusions was never meant to leave you shattered. No, it was meant to strip away the dust, the limits, the doubts, until only the unbreakable remained. Reckoning was the purge. Power is what rises from the ashes they thought would bury you. Now here you stand, stronger, sharper. No longer a secret, no longer a shadow. Exposure gave you a stage, reckoning gave you clarity, but power gives you direction, and direction is what makes the world lean forward, trembling, waiting for your next move. Oh, how it terrifies them. Because power is not noise. Power doesn't shout to be seen. Power is quiet presence, steady control, the weight in the room that makes every head turn without a word. And now that you've stepped into it, they can feel it. They can't escape it. They can't breathe without noticing it. Wow. Think about that shift. Once they thought you were beneath them. Once they thought your silence was weakness. Now that silence is strength and it crushes them. You don't need to raise your hand to strike. You don't need to prove anything. You simply exist with undeniable force. Yeah, this is where they begin to fracture completely. Because when someone carries real power, pretenders can't coexist in the same space. Their lies, their arrogance, their cheap games, all of it collapses when faced with someone who embodies truth, sharpened into action. Nah, don't misunderstand. Power isn't about control over them. It's about control over yourself. It's the discipline to move with purpose when chaos tries to pull you apart. It's the clarity to see beyond distractions. It's the patience to wait for the right strike instead of wasting strength on empty battles. That's what frightens them most, that you're not reckless, you're deliberate. Because deliberate power is unstoppable, and now every step you take shakes their world. Not because you scream louder, not because you crave their recognition, but because you don't need it. You've built a foundation inside yourself that no insult, no betrayal, no exposure can shake. And when a person stands like that, steady as a mountain, fierce as a storm, everyone else is forced to adjust. Oh, they'll try to resist it. They'll laugh weakly. They'll call it luck, call it timing, call it anything but what it is. But deep down, they know, they feel it in their bones. The tide has turned, and they can't turn it back. Their disbelief no longer matters. Their doubt no longer touches you. The power is yours, and it's not going anywhere. And here's the cold truth. Once you step into real power, you stop chasing, you stop proving, you stop begging for acknowledgement. You become the acknowledgement. Your very presence is the proof. Your survival is the evidence. Your rise is the testimony. That's why they're restless. That's why they can't sleep. Because you're no longer playing the game on their board. You've flipped the table, built your own, and now they're scrambling to find a seat, but the seats are gone. Power is clarity. Power is calm. Power is walking forward while they trip over their own panic. And with every step you take, you're leaving them behind, locked in the cage of their own mistakes. And the best part? You don't even have to look back. Because power doesn't just silence the past. Power creates the future. Power is presence. Dominance is direction. You see, power sits in silence. It commands respect without speaking. But dominance moves. It shapes the environment. It tilts the board so heavily that everyone else has no choice but to play by your weight, your rules, your existence. That's the transition from being undeniable to being unavoidable. And that's where you are now. Because power was the foundation, but dominance is the expansion. Dominance is when your presence stops being contained within yourself and starts pouring into the world around you. They feel it in the way they hesitate before speaking your name. They feel it in the way they second-guess every move, wondering how you'll respond. Oh, how it twists them. To know that every step they take now is measured against your shadow. Once upon a time, they mocked you for being nothing. Now, they whisper in corners, calculating how to survive in the space you control. Wow, isn't it strange? The very ones who tried to strip you of influence are now trapped in your orbit. They can't move without circling you. They can't build without accounting for your presence. That's dominance, when even your silence bends the ground beneath their feet. Yeah, but don't mistake it for arrogance. Dominance isn't about screaming louder. It's about moving with such certainty that resistance collapses before it even begins. It's about creating momentum so strong that others get swept into it, whether they want to or not. That's why they can't escape you. You're no longer a figure they can dismiss. You're the force shaping the air they breathe. Nah, they don't want to admit it. They still cling to the illusion that they have a say. But the truth is clear. Their say is gone. Their attempts at control died the moment they underestimated you. And now, every action you take makes their resistance look smaller, weaker, pettier. Dominance isn't an accident. It's born from endurance, from surviving exposure, from walking through reckoning, from holding power steady when the storm raged around you. That's why it terrifies them, because dominance can't be faked. Pretenders scream, but dominance doesn't need to scream. It simply exists, and its existence crushes opposition. Oh, they'll try to frame it differently. They'll call you ruthless, call you cold, call you unstoppable. And every label they throw only confirms what they fear, that they've lost the ability to define you. Because when you reach dominance, only your actions define you, and your actions are undeniable. Think about it. Once they had the power to ignore you. Once they had the arrogance to laugh. But now, they're forced to respond, forced to acknowledge, forced to adjust. That's dominance, when your very presence dictates their behavior. And here's the brutal truth. Dominance doesn't mean you crush everything in sight. Dominance means you no longer need to. You've already won the space. You've already carved the territory. Your victory isn't in the fight. It's in the silence that follows, where no one dares to challenge what's already been proven. That's silence. That's yours now. Dominance isn't a moment. It's a state. It's the point where exposure, reckoning, and power converge into permanence. And permanence is what they fear most, because mistakes can be forgiven. But dominance, once established, it cannot be erased. Oh, let them stew in that reality. Let them wrestle with the fact that the very stage they built to mock you has become your throne. Let them try to claw back relevance. It won't matter. The field is tilted, the balance broken, and you're the one who tilted it. And now, the only question left isn't about them. It's about you. And there it is. The truth finally hit. They thought they had you figured out. Oh wow, they were dead wrong. Every scheme, every lie, every little move they made to bury you, exposed. And now you're untouchable, unstoppable, unshakable. Let them stew in their own chaos. Let them choke on their own mistakes. Because the secret's out, and you've risen higher than they ever imagined. Yeah. Remember this. The world only bends for those who refuse to break. So take your spotlight, claim your stage, and let them watch in silence forever. Hey buddy, wait. Do you even realize what you did this morning? Like no joke, something shifted and you didn't even feel it. You just got up, breathed, moved, maybe scrolled your phone. But somewhere in the unseen, your choice hit different. Oh yeah, you did something small, something silent, but someone saw it. And guess what? It made him smile. Not because you were perfect, but because for the first time you controlled the chaos instead of feeding it. Crazy, right? You, the one who thought today was just another day, actually changed the rhythm of your story. The way you resisted that impulse, the way you paused before reacting, that moment rewrote reality. And that's why you're here watching this, because deep down you felt it too. That tiny decision, that quiet power, it's echoing now. Oh, and before we start, a tribute to you. Yeah, you, the ones who fight silent battles every morning and never brag about it. The ones who build their strength in private. The ones who watch, listen, reflect, and still rise even when no one claps. You're the real ones. You're the reason voices like mine exist, to remind you that your quiet power matters. It started the moment you opened your eyes, but you didn't even notice it. That's the funny part, isn't it? Every morning feels the same. Alarm, screen, routine, repeat. You call it life, but what if I told you that this morning something shifted? Not in the world, in you. You did something small. So small your mind dismissed it like a flicker in a broken bulb. But someone noticed. Someone smiled. And no, not out of kindness, out of recognition. Oh wow. You thought no one saw that quiet decision you made, the one that no one clapped for, no one thanked you for, the one that hurt because it meant choosing restraint over chaos. But it mattered. It rippled. It whispered through the unseen patterns of consequence, brushing past the edges of lives you'll never meet. Yeah, that tiny act, it lit something. You see, most people think they're invisible until they're in pain. But you proved something this morning without even realizing it. You proved that power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it breathes quietly through self-control. You said no to something that the weaker version of you would have said yes to. You didn't even celebrate it. You just moved on. That's the tragedy and the beauty. Because restraint is the quiet rebellion of the wise. It doesn't scream. It doesn't post. It doesn't ask for applause. It simply watches, waiting for the world to catch up to its reason. And that's what made him smile. That unseen witness of consequence. The one who understands how your smallest decision rewrote an entire chain of outcomes. You have no idea what you prevented, what you protected, or what kind of darkness folded back into itself, because you simply paused. Nah, most won't get it. They think power is in shouting, in winning arguments, in making noise. But the real ones? They know silence is a weapon sharper than words. You woke up today thinking it was just another day. But to someone watching patterns unfold, it was a turning point. You might not see it now, but your stillness carried weight. You realigned something. That calm moment of choice, that breath before reaction, it broke a cycle that was meant to repeat. You refused to be predictable. You refused to be ruled. And that's why he smiled. He smiled because you didn't even know what you did. Because your strength didn't need a spotlight. Because the world kept spinning, unaware that one quiet human act just tilted its balance a little toward justice. Oh, you thought it was nothing. A shrug, a sigh, a decision you'll forget by noon. But somewhere, the consequences shivered and rearranged themselves. Someone who would have fallen didn't. Someone who would have given up found a reason not to. All because you didn't give in. Power doesn't always come with a crown. Sometimes it comes with calm. And today, your calm changed everything. You didn't just wake up today. You woke something up. And that's the part no one talks about. The war that begins before your feet even touch the floor. It's quiet, unseen, fought in silence. The kind of war that never makes it to headlines but decides everything. The war inside you. The one between the person you were yesterday and the one you could become today. Yeah. Most people lose it before breakfast. They lose it the second they scroll, the second they compare, the second they surrender to the noise. But you hesitated. You paused. That moment of awareness, that flicker of resistance, that's what changed the rhythm. Because awareness is dangerous. It's the spark that burns through the ropes that keep the ordinary from breaking free. Oh wow. You didn't know you were rewriting your own pattern, did you? You thought it was nothing. A breath, a thought, a decision so small it barely mattered. But that's how it always starts. The most powerful transformations begin in silence. A whisper that says, "Not today." A refusal that rewires an entire life. Nah, the world doesn't reward that kind of discipline. It rewards noise, drama, distraction. But there's a kind of person, rare, sharp, untamed, who learns to find power in stillness. And this morning, without applause, without a witness, you became that person. You might not feel it yet, but restraint built your foundation while everyone else was chasing shadows. You didn't fight anyone today. You fought you, the restless, impatient version of you that always wants more, faster, easier. You starved that version with silence, with awareness, with choice. That's what made him smile, not because you were perfect, but because you noticed before you fell. You caught yourself, didn't you? Maybe it was a thought you rejected. Maybe it was a word you didn't speak. Maybe it was an emotion you refused to feed. And in that split second, you declared something massive, that your mind doesn't own you anymore. You do. That's the moment most people miss. They think strength is loud, but true strength? It's invisible. It's the quiet correction, the unseen restraint, the decision no one praises but everything depends on. You see, there's a line that divides those who drift through life and those who steer it. That line isn't drawn with power or wealth or words. It's drawn with control. The ability to stop when your impulses beg you to move. That's the unseen art. That's the battle that defines everything. Oh, and here's the secret. No one tells you. Every time you win that silent war, something shifts around you. Reality bends a little. Consequences rearrange. People sense something different, even if they can't name it. That's the echo of inner power. Not loud, not bright, but deep. Every victory whispers one question. Can you handle the weight of what you just awakened? Because now that awareness has tasted freedom, it won't stop asking for more. The thing you woke up inside yourself this morning, that clarity, that restraint, that quiet command, it's not satisfied with one act. It wants consistency. It wants proof. And that's where most fall apart. They want the reward of strength without the price of discipline. But discipline, that's the spine of power. Without it, everything collapses. Oh wow. You think you can control it once and call it mastery? No. Control is a practice, not a moment. Every morning, it will ask you again, will you choose chaos or control? And every time you choose control, the war inside you evolves. It gets quieter, but heavier. Because each decision strengthens the walls of your will, and the stronger they get, the more resistance you'll feel pressing against them. Yeah, that's the irony. Growth never feels like peace. It feels like pressure. Pressure to rise, to resist, to refine. You'll feel it when no one's watching. That internal pull to do what's easy instead of what's right. And that's when the test begins. Not in the loud moments where everyone can see your strength, but in the silent ones, where no one will ever know. Nah, don't fool yourself. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's cold. It's lonely. It's doing the same right thing every day, even when you're tired, even when you're bored, even when no one claps for you. But that's what separates those who talk about strength from those who become it. You know what made him smile this morning? It wasn't your victory. It was your consistency. The silent repetition of control, the way you refuse to let your impulses dictate your direction. That's the kind of power that reshapes everything around it. Because when a person becomes consistent in truth, the world starts bending to their rhythm. Oh, you didn't notice, did you? You thought the smile was just approval. But no, it was recognition. He saw it. That rare fire of discipline that burns without needing attention. That self-governed order that doesn't wait for motivation. The kind of energy that changes outcomes because it refuses to be ruled by temptation. And that's the secret. Discipline isn't a cage, it's liberation. It's not about denying yourself everything. It's about owning your choices so deeply that nothing owns you. Every time you resist what weakens you, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. That's why restraint feels heavy, because freedom has weight. And now that you've awakened it, you can't go back. Every morning from now on, this silent force inside you will demand something higher, cleaner, sharper. It will test you, not to break you, but to refine you. Every strength you build will one day turn around and test you. You think discipline makes life easier? No, it makes life real. The moment you start gaining control over yourself, the world starts pushing harder. It's like resistance knows it's losing ground and oh, it hates that. That's when the whispers begin. The ones that say, "You've done enough, you deserve a break. No one's watching anyway." That's the trap, the calm after victory, where weakness tries to sneak back in, wearing the face of comfort. Oh, wow. You thought your test was over this morning when you won that small battle? Nah, it was just the beginning. Because once you prove strength, it doesn't disappear, it echoes. And those echoes, they call for greater tests, harder choices, quieter sacrifices. You've awakened a standard now, and that standard will haunt you every time you think about falling back. It's strange, isn't it? How self-control feels like peace at first, and then suddenly, like a storm. The moment you think you've mastered yourself, a deeper flaw steps forward. That's how life refines you, layer by layer, temptation by temptation, until every weak corner has to face the mirror. And if you don't face it willingly, it finds ways to face you. Yeah, strength fights back. It questions your comfort. It breaks your patterns. It shakes the lies you tell yourself when you're tired. It doesn't let you settle. That's what makes it rare, because most people stop right there. They call peace what is actually surrender. They call distraction what is actually escape. But you didn't stop. You noticed. You listened. You felt that storm building behind your calm and said, "Let it come." Oh, and when it came, when that temptation whispered again, when that impatience burned again, when that ego rose again, you didn't flinch. You recognized it. You saw it for what it was, the test of consistency. That's why he smiled again. Not because you didn't fall, but because you faced it. You confronted the very thing that once ruled you and told it, not anymore. Discipline doesn't end with victory. It evolves into responsibility, and responsibility is heavier than any burden you've known. It asks you to hold the line when everyone else folds. It demands that you become your own reminder when the world forgets what restraint looks like. It makes you carry peace like a shield in the middle of chaos. And you know what's wild? That's when real power begins to show, not in control, but in consistency. Because anyone can be strong once, but to stay strong, that's a whole different war. You've tasted that war now. You've seen how silence tests louder than words. But this isn't the end of your awakening. Because once strength starts fighting back, something even deeper begins to move. When the storm ends, it doesn't leave peace, it leaves transformation. You felt it, didn't you? That strange quiet after the struggle. Not comfort, not calm, but something deeper. Like the world took one breath with you, and suddenly, everything changed. The air feels heavier, sharper. You walk the same streets, speak the same words, but something inside you doesn't move the same anymore. That's growth. Not the kind that screams for attention, the kind that changes the way silence feels around you. Oh wow. You thought discipline was just about control, but now you see it's about alignment. Every choice you made, every time you said no, every moment you resisted the easy path, it didn't just build strength, it built clarity. You started seeing through things that used to fool you, the fake praises, the shallow victories, the noise that everyone else still worships. You saw through it all, and now you can't unsee it. Yeah. That's the cost of awareness. Once you rise, the view changes, and with it comes responsibility. You start realizing that you can't live like you used to. You can't talk the same, react the same, even think the same. The higher you rise in awareness, the heavier each choice becomes, because now you know what it means. You understand the ripples your silence creates, the balance your restraint restores. And that knowledge, it never lets you rest. Nah, it's not punishment. It's precision. You've been refined. Every impulsive layer has been peeled back to reveal something real. The part of you that doesn't bend for comfort, that doesn't move for applause. The part that acts with purpose, even when no one's looking. That's what makes you different now. That's what made him smile. He smiled. Not because you won, but because you became. You turned awareness into action, action into consistency, and consistency into character. You learned that control isn't suppression, it's direction. You don't kill emotion, you master it. You don't erase desire, you guide it. You don't silence chaos, you command it. That's power. The kind no one teaches because it can't be performed. It has to be lived. Oh, and here's the twist. The more disciplined you become, the less you chase. The world starts coming to you differently, slower, clearer, almost cautious. Because something about you says, I've seen through the noise. You carry a quiet authority, now not built on arrogance but on awareness. You're no longer reacting to life, you're directing it. And that's the real transformation. Not what changed around you, but what changed within you. You don't crave validation anymore. You crave alignment. You don't chase outcomes, you chase order. And once you taste that kind of balance, there's no going back. So, Now you see it, huh? That tiny moment you thought meant nothing. It was everything. The quiet pause, the breath before the storm, the choice no one saw, but he did. And it made him smile. That slow, knowing kind of smile that says, "You finally get it." Oh, wow. Yeah, this wasn't luck. It was awareness. The kind that wakes you up from noise and teaches you that control is the rarest rebellion. You didn't win by shouting louder. You won by staying still when chaos begged for a reaction. That's real power. That's real evolution. And you just proved you're not like the rest. So listen, if this hit something inside you, if it cracked open that part of your mind that's been waiting to wake up, then don't just disappear. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you felt. Tell me what you saw in yourself today, because your voice might be the spark someone else needs to start their morning right. And hey, respect to you. Seriously. You stayed till the end when most people tap out halfway. You listened when others scroll past. You faced yourself when most people hide behind filters. That's rare. That's strength. That's you.